panelists that you have about a minute and 30 seconds to answer each question, just to stay on time. And for everyone else, could you please hold your questions towards the end, as we will have a Q&A session. So just to start off, I would like to ask, what do you guys do? What is your occupation? What do you do aside from dance? And we can go from the order that we did. So Q, if you would like to go first.
Sure, it'd be a pleasure. So I am currently the Chief Accessibility Officer, newly minted, first ever system-wide Chief Accessibility Officer here in New York for the Metropolitan Transit Authority, or the MTA. In that capacity, I oversee all that is ADA compliance, accessibility policy, and strategy for the MTA, which is comprised of New York City Transit, buses and subways for all of New York City, the Long Island Railroad, and Metro North. I should also add, I think I'm on just 1 minute 30 yet, that I am also the chair of the board at Heidi Latsky Dance, where I used to be a dancer, seldomly still dance with.
Thank you. Stephanie?
So like I mentioned earlier, I've been dancing since I was 5 years old. I started off with classical ballet, and then I got introduced to different styles of dance, like modern jazz, tap, African, flamenco, belly dancing in middle school at a magnet school. And I became really weaved into the field of dance, where I found my passion and I found something I was good at. So I continued to dance, and then I made it into a conservatory for the arts called New World School of the Arts in Miami, Florida. And I was trained, I got training as a pre-professional there. In my senior year of high school, I went on tour in Germany to represent modern dance. And then that same year, I got into a car accident and I lost my right foot. Of course, I wasn't sure if I could still dance, but I went back to dancing as a form of physical therapy. And while I was doing the physical therapy, I realized that, you know what, my body still has all the intelligence and all the information that I've gained over so many years of dance training. And even though I don't have a foot, I still have the rest of my body. And the rest of my body wanted to dance. So I surrendered and I went right back into dancing as best as I could. Graduated from high school, got a full scholarship at New World School of the Arts to do college there again. And then I went on to dance professionally with Urban Bushwomen in New York City. And then I moved here to California to dance with Access Dance Company. It's a company that utilizes dancers with and without physical disabilities. I stayed with them for 3 years, and now I dance with a bunch of other dance companies out here in the Bay Area. And I also do my own work as a solo artist, telling my story through the art of dance.
Thank you. Next.
Great. So aside from my work with Dance for All Bodies, I work full-time as the development coordinator for the National Council on Independent Living, which is a national disability rights organization. I handle all of their grant writing, fundraising, and partnerships. In addition to that, I am also an author. My nonfiction has been published in a wide variety of outlets, including Washington Post, Everyday Feminism, Uncanny Magazine, and so many more. I'm currently working with my agent, Emmy Nordstrom Higdon, at Westwood Creative Artists on a middle grade fiction novel centering around disabled teens breaking the rules and finding their power in an amusement park. It's a lot of fun. And I also do sensitivity reads as a freelance gig. I read manuscripts in all stages of pre-publication that have disability representation and offer notes on how to make that representation more authentic and respectful. So I am a very busy person.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, so my question for you guys is, how did you get started in dance, and how did you find the dance style of your preference? Why did you like this dance style? I know Stephanie had kind of already touched bases, but I'd love to hear from Q.
Yeah, so really my introduction to the world of dance after my injury was with Heidi Lasky Dance. Heidi had been commissioned by Lincoln Center to produce a piece for the 25th anniversary of the ADA with wheelchair athletes. At the time, I was a competitive rock climber. I used to rock climb around the world, and I'm also a deep sea diver, so I am an athlete. And she just convinced me to join her troupe, and together we came up with a really fun piece that we performed at Lincoln Center, right in front of the fountain outside, as a celebration part of the ADA 25.
Sounds great. Oh, nice. Is it pronounced Kara, or am I pronouncing it wrong?
I will honestly respond to any pronunciation. I say Kara, but
Kara, okay.
I will respond to literally any pronunciation.
I think it's your turn now.
So ironically, like you, sort of my journey into dance also sort of started with Heidi Latsky Dance. When I was a teenager, I saw Heidi Latsky Dance perform their project, the GIMP project, at, I believe it was possibly Lincoln Center. I'm not sure. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. Um, and I saw Lawrence Carter Long, who's a fantastic activist. He was dancing in the performance at the time, and he has cerebral palsy like me. And I saw him sort of stomp his way across the stage, and it was like some sort of revelation took place in my brain because I'd never seen someone like me on a stage before. And so there was that, and then I was invited to a Saturday rec program for people with disabilities. And the staff, I was about 13 or 14 at the time, and the staff asked me if I wanted to do the dance class. And I was sort of like, what? Dance class? And I was interested, and I walked in and everyone was dancing sitting down, even the instructor. And that was something I'd never thought about, never considered. And I couldn't stop talking about it. I said they were all dancing, but they were sitting down because standing has always been something very, very difficult for me. So it was the first time I realized that I could dance. And then in my teenage years, when I was about 15, I saw a newspaper article about Dancing Dreams, which was a dance program for kids with disabilities in Queens, New York, near where I grew up. So I am a New Yorker, and Q, I'd love to talk to you about transit accessibility in New York, because I have a lot of thoughts on that, even though I don't live in New York anymore. And at the time, Dancing Dreams only served children up to 10 years old. And so I wrote to the founder and said, can we start a class for older girls? Because I want to dance. And she said, find me some more dancers and we'll make it happen. So I rounded up a few of my friends, and I danced with Dancing Dreams until I graduated high school. So that's sort of how I found dance. It sort of got put on the back burner for a few years as I sort of tried out other adaptive sports. And I moved here to the Washington, D.C. area about 4 years ago for my job. But then the pandemic started, and before the pandemic, I was doing bocce, I was doing rock climbing. None of those really lends itself well to a virtual environment. So I found Bay Area Outreach and Recreation Program. I found DFAB. I found Wheelchair Dancers Organization. And I really rediscovered how much I love dance. I really like contemporary dance and ballet. I think those are my two favorite. Anything with quick or sharp movements is kind of difficult for me. So I like that contemporary and ballet are a little slower, a little more graceful. And I really like sort of the freedom to choreograph things to modern music, you know, pop music, country music, songs that mean a lot to me.
Thank you. Okay, so our next question is what? Oh, did you want to share, Stephanie, more about that question? I thought it's your choice.
Yeah, I'd like to add that, I said that I started with classical ballet, and my parents put me in ballet because they thought I was having issues growing up and my height was too short, I guess. So a doctor told them, oh, put her in ballet because she'll be able to elongate her spine and elongate. Anyway, it sounds all like really crazy to me, but I've benefited so much from dance. So I started off with classical ballet, and obviously, as most of us know, classical ballet is kind of set for European audiences and also European dancers. So I never fit the mold. I was like the darkest one in the class. My body was very strong and stout, and all the other bodies were like long and svelte. And although I could see that I didn't belong, I felt like I belonged. So I still dedicated myself to the art form. And I was actually one of the best dancers always in class. I was very competitive. Well, finally, when I was introduced to modern dance, which opened up the whole spectrum of like different dance styles for me, like jazz, African, um, contemporary, that's when I found my style because I could apply all the technique that I had already gained from classical ballet, and then I weaved it into the different styles of dance, which for their own reasons provided more liberation for my body in general. So once I found that spaciousness for myself in my body, I feel like that's when I really found my style, and that's when I really really started dancing like from the heart, not just from muscles and bones and technique, but I really became an artist when I found these other dance styles.
Thank you. Okay, our next question, what fabrics or brands do you like to wear when dancing that you find is very comfortable to move in? Or have you found difficulties finding clothes to dance in?
That's such a great question. Personally, I have found some difficulties finding the right fabrics to dance with for a couple of reasons. One, um, I use a wheelchair, so it's inevitable that the fabric is going to rub against my tires, and that's always an issue. But beyond that, very little has been designed for a person in a seated position. So as I'm zipping through a dance floor, moving really fast, uh, um, I struggle to find the right garment that'll allow me to have that movement. At Heidi Lasky Dance, we're all about virtuosity and being fierce, and that's showcased with sharp, crisp, fast movements or very slow movements, which is equally as tough. But yeah, that's always been an issue for me, finding the right garments. I think that the best experience I've had with attire and dancing has been when we've had clothes produced for us specifically for the dancers.
Thank you. Um, Kara or Stephanie?
I can go. Um, what I like to wear to dance is kind of what I like to wear every day, and that's leggings and a t-shirt. Um, I don't do super well with things with fiddly buttons and zippers and things. I have a decent amount of fine motor impairment. So I like leggings because they're comfortable, they have an elastic waistband, they're easy to move in, they're not stiff. Um, you know, when I did do ballet and Dancing Dreams, I did have a hard time, getting on tights myself. Tights can be very difficult if your legs don't move very much, um, which is why I don't wear them now. So yeah, I'm not overly concerned with what I wear to dance. I'm more concerned about kind of how I feel, and that can, a lot of times I like to wear fun t-shirts with disability rights slogans or icons on it. I like to wear, if my hands are cooperating, I like to wear fun dangly earrings that sort of swish around while I dance. So I'm not so concerned with clothes. I mean, day to day I definitely face accessibility barriers. with clothes, but I've sort of managed to find my own style.
Nice. Okay, Stephanie?
Yeah, so I'm the kind of person that style is really important for me. I pay attention to that. And I like definitely clothes that are comfortable for me, because that's the essence of dance, is being comfortable for me in my body. So I usually like to pick like cotton fabrics or anything that's like stretchy and forgiving. Dancing with the prosthetic leg, and the way that I dance, usually when I perform or when I explore, I like to dance with and without the prosthetic leg. So I have to have access to that part of my right leg under my knee. So even like tight leggings or anything doesn't work for me, because they're so fitted at the bottom of the ankle. I really need like either openness or capri so that I can access my prosthetic leg and I can take it off or put it back on easily. I'm also concerned with when I remove my prosthetic leg. I do wear socks. Anybody that's out there that's an amputee understands that. And I'm always concerned with how the socks look. I mean, is it the right color? Do they match with what I'm wearing? Does it look, decent and presentable? So I really pay attention very, very deeply to like every single detail. I also like to dance. I like to explore and be risky. I like to go upside down and do inversions. So jewelry does not work for me. Even this necklace that I'm wearing right here, I would remove it if I was doing like a full exploration of dance, or definitely a performance, or even when I teach. I remove this. No earrings, definitely. I've seen some pretty nasty accidents with earrings. I love to have my hair down because I like it more stylistically, but it can get in the way sometimes, or it can just cover my face and I just can't see sometimes. So I pull my hair back usually for dance. But again, I like to wear things that are fitted and comfortable and flatter like my height. I'm very some people will say short, I say grounded or rooted. So it's very specific to me, like how my clothing fits me, like on my waist and on my legs. So I pay very deep attention to what I wear, not only when I dance but in general.
Thank you. All right, to wrap up, our last question is, what advice do you have for your younger self about self-expression? I don't know who wants to answer that first.
I love that question. Um, I love that question so much. It's so good. To my younger self, I'd say, don't repeat what's been done. Everyone's already seen it.
Mhm.
And don't be afraid to stand out. It's what everyone's looking for.
Nice.
For me, I think my advice to my younger self, and would also be sort of my advice to myself now, is something I have to constantly remind myself about, is it's okay to move the way you move. I have spastic cerebral palsy. There is not one part of my body that moves like an able-bodied person moves. Um, and in the adaptive dance world, you don't often see people like me. Um, you know, not one of my body parts moves in, what people would typically consider a fluid or graceful way. So I have a lot of self-consciousness when I'm watching myself dance and move, because it doesn't look right to me, but I have to keep reminding myself that there is no right way to dance. And that it's okay to be me, and it's okay to move my own way. um I think seeing more people with disabilities like mine would go a long way towards enhancing not only my self-esteem, but the self-esteem of so many people with disabilities, um, who don't fit society's typical view of what a person with a disability should be. I know a lot of people who want to dance but don't see themselves represented. I think we definitely need a lot more diversity of bodies in the adaptive dance world.
Yeah, definitely. I'll dovetail on that because that's kind of where I would go if I would talk to my young self is find your community, find the styles that you like. Go searching, go looking. I mean, back in the day when I was a kid, honestly, there was no Google. So you couldn't just Google things. But thankfully, my parents were very worldly people, so we traveled a lot. So we did get to see and got exposed to different types of people, all different kinds of bodies, and I got to see, you know, culture and arts from different cultures. So I would tell my younger self, like, see yourself in others. You're not alone, and you're not isolated, and that I'm a reflection of those that I feel a connection with, music that I feel a connection with, cultures, different dance styles, that I'm a reflection of that, and that there is a place for me, there is a space, and I do belong.
Thank you. That is, we're kind of have to cut it short with the panel, but because we want to like get our bodies moving and like dance. So I wanted to thank the panel for joining us today and talking about a little bit about fashion and a little bit about dance, a little bit of a mixture. With the questions, if you have any questions, maybe we can probably take one or two quick ones. If anybody has any, you can just kind of talk. If you have any questions.
Hey guys, it's Christina Mound. I wanted to know, because Open Style Lab, and that's, what I'm a part of, if we were to ever create any type of like hack or garment when it comes to dancing, what would you want?
That's a great question. I think the simpler, the better. Ease of movement, ease of getting on and off, I think is the biggest thing, especially if you don't have a lot of time to change. Something that looks nice, but is also adaptive and doesn't cost a lot. That's the main barrier I find with adaptive clothing, is that it looks really nice, but the price is way beyond what I would normally consider for a pair of jeans, let's say. So I think just, easy on, easy off,
Okay.
with a great look for a low price.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, both my arms are paralyzed, so I'm very much about, you need to get it on very easily. I'm thinking, maybe slightly baggier in the pants, using some like elastic waistband, but using really beautiful fabrics that are comfy but look elegant. Sounds kind of what you're talking about.
I would also add, piggybacking a little bit on Stephanie's point from before, wide legs, or, for pants, legs that open up to get your feet in easily. My feet don't move. I often describe my legs as golf clubs. So I don't have a lot of movement in my feet, and I really struggle sometimes when I'm trying to get tight fitting pants on, because my foot will get stuck in the hole, and then I have to reach down with my hand and sort of pull the fabric around my foot. So just, magnetic clasps or snaps, something like that.
Very cool. What about Stephanie and Q? Any additions to that design piece?
I would add something that, yes, looks good, but let's add some functionality to that material. Particularly, I think a lot about quick wick clothing, that's super absorbent. When I dance, I tend to sweat, and it just messes up my thought process, because now I'm thinking about, oh no, I'm sweating, and then there's all this light on me. So it's like hot, but I'm sweating, and then this water gets cold if I'm standing still, and I'm like, oh no, I need something to wipe this sweat off of me. So fabric that's quick, that's super absorbent, and nimble enough that allows movement to happen. I haven't seen that yet. I've seen that for sportswear, but that's not something that I want to dance with, because it doesn't look, great. But yeah, a hybrid between functional attractive, and absorbent.
Very nice. Yeah, I loved all the different like inputs with that, and I agree. There hasn't been really like the sportswear quality and scientific features has not gone into like high fashion, which is what you deserve to like wear when you're dancing. What about you, Stephanie?
Yeah, I would definitely say easy on and off. Like I love it when, since I work with my prosthetic leg, like when pants have either a zipper or Velcro, or I think Kara mentioned like magnetic strips, anything creative, it's fine. But that there's access where the article of clothing can easily release and go back so that we can get in and out. I'd also like, for example, for me, since I have a prosthetic leg, I like to see things that I can dress just my prosthetic leg with, so that my prosthetic leg can like be engaged and involved in the whole fashion process and style process too. I would love to have something cool like that. And then I think about like folks in wheelchairs, like what if like fashion went out and extended out to their assistive devices and found things that can connect to our assistive devices, so that it brings that part also into ourselves, into our full selves, into it. So it's not this thing that's hanging out on the side and it's just like metal or whatever it is, but it's also engaged in the style. And there's something in there that brings everything in together with our entire bodies and everything that's there assisting it.
Yeah, I would really love that as somebody who uses a wide array of mobility devices. I've called myself the mobility aid queen. I use crutches, I use a rollator, I use a power wheelchair. Sometimes for travel, I'll use a folding cane. And it's really difficult to find mobility aids and other adaptive aids that look cool. That's starting to change a little bit. My wheelchair is hot pink and I love it a lot. I also like to decorate my own wheelchair. I have stickers and buttons galore and a really nice bag on my chair. But yeah, something to sort of dress our adaptive aids in would be amazing, and need something customizable. So, each performance we could, match our mobility aids to our outfits. I mean, that would be cool.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I was talking to a company called Limitless, and they're a nonprofit out of Florida, and they make prosthetic arms, and what they really focus is on design. And it's really interesting. That's something that Open Style Lab hasn't explored, but I think really needs to, and definitely will sit and talk to my team, because it is a part of your body. So your extension of your body should just be as stylish and cool as you. And that's why when we see like so much kind of shared realities with dance and fashion, is that it is really just two forms of self-expression that everyone should have the ability to do in any way that they want. And that's why we were so excited, to have this conversation, because really it is just like two great ways that everyone should be able to use for self-expression.
Hi, Christina, this is Francisca.
Hey.
Hey, I have a question, just picking everybody's brains. Does anything like a decal exist that can go on prosthetics or devices, something that's temporary, that you can change up just like you change clothes? Is anything, that could be a fun solve moving forward?
Asking that question one more time for me.
Sure. I was just wondering if you, Christina, or anybody else knew of anything that currently exists that's like a skin that could go on, like a temporary tattoo or some sort of design template that could go on prosthetics or devices, like a decal. I'm just thinking out loud. That could be something to explore in the future. Something that's not permanent, that you could switch out like clothing, but that you could put on like a sticker or like a temporary tattoo.
Yeah,
No.
sorry. I've seen it before. And when I say that, I mean, like, I've only seen it. I don't feel like I have access to these things. Like, I've seen it in magazines, like in, amputee magazines. But who's selling that? And how much is that? A lot of the things for prosthetics are so expensive. I won't even bore you with the details, but it really makes it inaccessible. So to your question, it does exist, but it's not widely accessible. It's not widely used. There's not a lot of people making it. It's not like something you can easily like go on Amazon, click, 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 and get your thing. So it's not accessible, but it does exist.
Is there an interest? Do people want something like that? Would that be fun to use? Switch out.
So what I was going to say was, it really sounds like we're talking about accessories for persons with disabilities. And I think there would be a huge market for that. And even if something does exist, it's not being marketed the right way, because I've never seen it. And I know a lot of my friends who spent a lot of money buying things, and a lot of them have disabilities, and they would absolutely soak this up if it was marketed right. And by right, I mean everywhere, to the general public, so that everyone can see it.
Something to think about. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
If I could add something quickly, just thinking about like the marketing and financial accessibility. My name is Sonia, by the way. Hi. I have seen like quote unquote accessible underwear that I think could be a model for accessible leotards, like underwear that comes off at the hip, like there's a snap at the hip and you just like pull and it becomes one piece of fabric. I feel like a la bodysuits with a snap at the groin, there's a leotard solution in there somewhere, but the accessible underwear that exists is like $60 a pop for like one pair of underwear. And then dancewear is usually marketed up from underwear, even though it like takes a similar form. So that's something to think about as well, like modeling based on what already exists.
Yeah, I know Slick Chicks make something like that, but it's the big issue is really when these small retailers create something, it's so expensive because they don't mass produce it. So it's either you try to get someone like a Target to mass produce it, or you try to, and what Open Style Lab we're trying to do a little bit more of is like, how do we teach people the skills to take that same, like cut that leotard, take that same kind of, dollar closure and add it to them themselves. And that's what I think we're trying to do now, because price is such a problem. I worked on the launch of Tommy Hilfiger Adaptive and I can't even afford to buy it myself. Mm-hmm. So where do we find these solutions? And I think Open Style Lab is trying to, instead of producing garments, to teach people how to sew and provide accessible tools to do it.
Thank you, everyone. That was a great Q&A. Got our brains like working and thinking about how can we change things, or what needs to be changed in fashion and with the disability world. So before we get dancing, I just wanted to, we have on our end an Open Style Lab. We have a survey. You don't have to take it, do it now, but we would really appreciate you filling it out when you get the chance to. It would be really helpful for us just to see who is participating in these like workshops that we're doing, and just to have a good like data. And so there will be a link in the chat to take that survey. I wanted to say thank you again to the panel for talking about your experience with dance and fashion. And if you want to follow Open Style Lab and Dance with All for All Bodies, our social media platform is a great way to stay in contact, to know about events and future projects. So I'm going to hand it to, I believe, Stephanie, that is going to be teaching the dance class. And thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
how much time do I have?
I know it's supposed to be from 5 to 6 with 10 minutes, but I'm sure people will let you go over because everyone's very excited.
All right, awesome, everybody. So I'm going to jump right in. As I mentioned earlier, I'm the daughter of Brazilian immigrant parents, and I was raised in this country in the United States. However, they were very intentional about offering as much of the Brazilian culture as they could to me. So I grew up around the music and I grew up around the dance style. That I also attest to helping me find my own style within myself is just sourcing from my own culture. And I know that's a privilege because not everybody has access to their own culture or culture in general. So I'm here to offer a little bit of mine. We're going to be using some music that has like loud drums, loud bass. So if you can weave yourself into the music, because remember, we are music human beings. We're the ones that created and made music. So know that and allow yourself to weave yourself into the drums, into the beat, into the rhythm. We're going to be doing samba reggae, which is a dance from Salvador, Bahia, which is the most Africanist state in Brazil, and also the largest amount of Africans outside of Africa is in this state in Brazil. So we will be celebrating that and doing that. Let's see. So the dance is called samba reggae. I'm gonna go ahead and stand up, and hopefully you can still see me, but you are welcome to engage in this movement in any position you like. So I will be upright. You can be in any position. Hopefully you can still see me. The elbow and stretching up forward over your head. Good. Then we're gonna take this same movement and we're gonna take it right to the middle of our body. Right here, right to the middle, and we're gonna do this a few times. Yeah? So we're gonna pretty much do everything either 4 times or 8 times. So let me show you how it goes. I'm gonna start playing my drums. I'm gonna say 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we're gonna start with our arms to the front. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 1, 2, 3. Take it up, and 1, 2, 3. Side to side, and 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. In the middle, and 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Practice that much with music. Here we go. If the music is too loud, give me some signs. Like go like this or something like that, and I'll make sure to bring it down. All right, Bluetooth has come off. Let me get that connected again. Okay, it's coming back on. Here we go. Can you still hear my voice? I see thumbs up. All right, let's work with this. Here we go. Find your comfortable position and already start playing your drums. Find your rhythm, find your style. You can sway your shoulders, you can sway your head. I'm gonna say 5, 6, 7, 8, and we'll start with 4 arms to the front. Ready? 5, 6, 5, 6, 7. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take it up. 2, 3, 4. Side to side. 5, 6. In the middle. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, let's try that again. Ready? Here we go. Play your drums. Here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. And front. 2, 3. Take it up. And 2, 2. Side to side. And 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In the middle. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not too bad, friends. And right before we go off, I want you to show me one frozen shape right now about how you feel. How do you feel freezing that shape? 1, 2, 3. so we're gonna do the choreography one more time. At the end of the choreography, we're just gonna freeze in that feeling shape. Yep, find your style. Here we go. From the top, play them drums. 5, 6, 7, 8. To the front, 2, 3, 4. Reach it up, 2, alternating. Both arms overhead. Swing side to side. In the middle, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Freeze in your feeling shape. Freeze. All right, we have 1 more minute. Let's try it again. From the top, swing side to side. Play your drums. Whoop, whoop. Here we go. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7 to the front. And 1, 2, 3. Take it overhead. 2, 2, side to side. And 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. In the middle. And 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Frozen in your feeling shape. And freeze. All right, my friends, that was great. Again, this is Afro-Brazilian Samba Reggae, a dance of liberation for our peoples in Brazil. Thank you so much. I'd like to keep going, but I don't want to hog up all the time because I think we only have about 2 minutes left. So where's my host, just so I can check in?
Hello. I think you can keep going because, yeah, if you want to. Awesome. I don't know if we can go overboard, but I think a lot of people are having fun. So, all right. Grace, what do you think?
Yes, for anyone who likes to stay. This is amazing.
Awesome. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. That last feeling shape that you had, whoops. So we're gonna freeze frame that feeling shape. And you're gonna do that feeling shape 4 times, but in 4 different ways. So just to give you an example, here's my feeling shape, right? It's kind of like excited. And then I'm gonna change it up. This is my 1, then I'm gonna do 2, then I'm gonna do 3, then I'm gonna do 4. So 4 different versions of your feeling shape. Yeah, it's almost like voguing, right? Finding your style, getting into it 4 different times. Can we see just that with the shape? Show me your feeling shape and hit it. I'll say 5, 6, 7, 8, and we'll change it 4 times. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. Change, 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 change. Yes, you're hired. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. At the end of the choreography, we're gonna do our feeling shape 4 times. Switching it up, finding your style, surprise yourself. It's always so much fun to surprise yourself in movement. Ready? Here we go. Let's start from the top. I see you, Kara, playing your drums. I see you, Jane. I see you, Tess. All right, Roma, here we go. Play the drum. Here we go. 5, 6, take it to the front. Hey, 1, 2, 3, take it up. And 2, 2, side to side. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. In the middle. Here we go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4 feeling shapes. Here we go. Shake, change it up, shake, change it up, shake, change it up, shake. Nice. You know what, friends? We're gonna try it again, and I'm gonna encourage you. We're gonna do it twice, okay? I'm gonna do it twice, but I'm gonna leave it up to you. Take the opportunity for one of the tries and just watch. It's so lovely to just watch what's going on. Yep, and then the next try you can jump on with us, or you can do it first and then watch on the second try. All right, 2 tries. Pick one that you'll just sit back and watch, and then we'll all do it together. Here we go. First try. Play them drums. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Take it up. 2, 3. Take it side to side. 4, 5, 6. In the middle. And 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Shake. 1. Change it up. 2. Change it up. 3. Change it up. 4. All right. Second try. For the tour bus is waiting outside for us. We're taking the show on the road. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for everyone that was able to stay and dance and get your body moving. This was a great panel and a dance class. Thank you so much to everyone that participated. Have a great evening. All right, see you guys. Bye.
Bye, thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. Bye, Janice.
Thank you. Thanks, Lizzie. Nice to see you, Jessica, Stephanie. Keep dancing.
Bye.
See you soon.
See you.
Oh,
Bye, Janice.
thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Ciao.
Bye, everybody.